both of their quarterbacks. Caden Salter is the senior who transferred from Liberty. He was a 3-year starter at Liberty. Julian Lewis is a true freshman. You and I have both been to a lot of media days. I don't think either of us has ever seen a true freshman at media days.
I tried to recall, and I couldn't come up with any. Did you?
I couldn't. And the fact that it's a quarterback, I love this because one of the things that I always thought was silly is you have these freshmen who you kind of expect to play. And Julian Lewis, we don't know if he's going to start. Deion said he has not picked a starter yet. But even if he's not the starter, he's one twisted ankle for Caden Salter away from being the guy who has to go out there in front of, 60,000 people or on the road more than that and millions more on television. Like, they can handle interviews. And I think also at this point in time where the recruiting industrial complex is, and I realize our company is a part of that, these guys have done so much of this stuff in high school. This is nothing for them. Yeah, Julian Lewis, he was really comfortable yesterday talking to everybody. He had no problems.
I don't think it's as much about handling interviews as it's much about the statement
seniority
that it says about your program and where he is. It's like yesterday when Deion said on the podium, I brought both of them because I don't know which one was going to start. I thought that was an interesting comment, but I'm not even as interested in this potential contrived quarterback battle as I am about the statement that it makes about who represents Colorado football. That's what they do, right? People think it's a seniority thing, or it has been a seniority thing because it takes a while to become the face of a program or to be a representative worthy of sitting in that chair. And I think the message that sends when you have Jordan Seaton, who started as a freshman and a 5-star.
Can I read a quote in your column from Jordan Seaton? Because I came away very impressed by Jordan Seaton. Just hearing him talk, and when you sit next to him, you're like, "Holy crap, this is an elite tackle."
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
But here's what Jordan Seaton said in your column: going into my recruiting process, I wasn't told I was going to be a big name or be the face of the team. I was actually told what I needed to work on. For me, I worked on those things, and along came being the face of the team and having the responsibility of this or that. With the work I put in and my teammates around me, put me in the position I am today. Some people think we're just throwing money at people. This ain't that. You're not going to come here and make what you're seeing these schools down south paying. It's definitely a misconception sometimes. You come here, you come to play football. Now, that's not Jordan Seaton probably got a really good NIL deal. He was the number 1 offensive tackle in the country in his class. But he also, if he hadn't been able to play, if he hadn't put in the work to be a good offensive tackle, he would have been embarrassed last season. He was definitely not. And he got better as the season went on. And now he goes into this season as one of the better offensive linemen in the Big 12.
Yeah. And I mean, part of the reason why I wanted to write this story is we have to at least acknowledge the elephant in the room. And that's the fact that, and you know this about me, Andy, I'm a watch guy. So I know what I'm looking at when I see things. He was wearing a AP with exposed mechanism on the front. That
would be an Audemars Piguet.
Yeah, it's a $140,000 watch. Now, I don't know how much it costs to, emboss or whatever the word is, all those diamonds all over it. But without the diamonds, when it was just, how it comes from the factory, it's $140,000. I don't know if that's his watch. That could belong to Deion. That could belong to Shador. That's kind of like the keys to the program. But there is a level of accomplishment and flashiness that comes with it that you earn by going there, and you will be promoted. And the statement that it makes about Colorado football is that if you go there, whether you're a freshman or a senior, whether you're an offensive tackle or a quarterback, you'll be put in a position where people will see you. And Deion Sanders at the podium himself had a few interesting quotes.
Oh, I really like that quote. You want to see us win, you want to see us lose, but you want to see us. He's not wrong.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. We talk about Colorado all the time. And I think that that's an appealing thing for recruits. I think that Deion Sanders truly does have one of the more compelling sales pitches out there, because I don't think that you or I or a lot of the people listening to this show are disillusioned enough to think that they're just winning money battles. Now, Julian Lewis, I'm assuming, got compensated quite well, especially if he owns that watch. And hopefully it was more than $1 million, because I don't know that I would spend 20% of my my income on a watch.
I'm wondering if that's if Shador let him, because it feels like more of the Shador handing the keys kind of thing.
Yeah.
But and here's the thing, and I think Julian Lewis is only 17, by the way, because people were asking him about all the stuff that they do, and he's like, I'm still 17. I don't get to do that much stuff. But he, when you do that, when you wear that watch to media days, when you show it off, and you understand that you're putting a target on yourself, because there's a segment of society that's like, I don't like flashy. I don't like people who brag about that sort of thing. That's not classy. And so you're going to get criticized for that. You're going to, if you then do not live up to the hype, people are gonna bash you for it. So, but I think Julian Lewis is smart enough to understand that. And
the thing that's really
fascinated by this,
the AP itself too, is that like the watch inherently, the way it is when there's no diamonds on it is one that would blend in, and I'm not sure most people would even notice what it is. But you put the diamonds on it, and you have the chain, and it's a statement, and you make that statement. So, and you
better be able to back it up on the field.
And when people, and here's the funniest thing that we always lose track of. At the end of the day, Andy, me, you, the people in the chat, the people on ESPN, the people with the cameras, don't care about how much money you have. They care about how good you are at football. So at some point, whether it's a true freshman year or whatever, the rubber is going to meet the road, and you're either going to be able to play or you're not going to be able to play. And the lights will go away from you fast if you can't play. So the thing that I appreciated about what Jordan Seaton said about how he put the work in, it's like, well, buddy, I'm not going to like fall to my knees and worship that you worked hard. This is your entire livelihood. If you didn't work hard, then you would lose every opportunity that it's on you to work hard. Nobody cares that I worked hard to be in this position. Working hard is your obligation as a football player in order to get to the places that you want to go. And if you don't want to put the work in, you're not going to reach those. So I'll clap my hands that he's done that.
Yeah.
But like, I think there's this conception that Colorado's not working hard because they wear the watch. They better be working hard, because if they're not going to get paid. Money is fleeting.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right.
Can't play, or no more is coming down the line. So at the end of the day, whether you like the watch or you don't know, what time it is, or the flashiness that some Colorado players have illustrated under Deion Sanders' leadership, Shador Sanders got drafted. Travis Hunter got drafted. Like, these guys were good at football, and they got the money that comes along with being good with football. But eventually, if you're not good at football, or you don't put the work in, or you care more about, the watch than you do about the game, that's going to catch up to you, and you're going to fall on your face. So, you better put the work in. That's the whole point of this. Yeah,
and I think Julian Lewis understands that. Just listening to him talk yesterday,
I think people think that they don't understand it. That's the problem. I never questioned that Jordan Seaton understood that.
Yeah, I feel like that was a very self-aware group. And, that's, I think, the misconception about Deion's program is that they're all about the flash, and they're not trying to actually make the players better. Like, if you watch them play last season, they got better as the season went on. They got better on the line of scrimmage as the season went on.
That Deion Sanders, the ultimate showman, uses the flashiness and the funny quotes and the larger-than-life personality to draw attention to Colorado's program. What I don't doubt, and I'm sure you don't either, is a stringent commitment behind the scenes to improving, getting better, and being good at your craft. Because you don't get to being as good as Colorado was last year by messing around. You know what I mean? They do things differently, but I do believe that the core of what Deion Sanders is trying to do is create a good football team. And I think people lose track of that because of the flashiness. And the one thing that he did is he earned my respect last year, in the sense of them being a very well-coached football team, him getting highly rated players that actually produced. Shador, Travis Hunter, and Seaton produced. The only one that they've gotten so far that has been a bust is Cormani McLean.
Who, by the way, is now playing at Florida.
He's not playing at Florida. So, that might be a McLean problem, not a Colorado.
No, he is playing at Florida.
He is?
He got it together. Yeah.
He did?
Yeah. He had a big play in one of those late SEC games last year.
Behind the scenes, is he going to be like a starter this year?
He's going to play.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good to hear. Good for him. Because I heard he kind of, was kind of off the
it was I think it was a
while.
case like Deion was very, very critical when he was there. And maybe some of the criticism landed and he realized at his new spot, hey, if I don't get this together, this all goes away.
Here's the thing then, if that's the case, then you can also credit Deion Sanders for the wake-up call that was necessary to get him back on track. So
because he could have coddled him and said, oh, this was a big, a big highly rated signee, I should take care of him. He didn't treat him differently because he was a big time signee. Like he's like, you're not doing the stuff you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You're not going to be rewarded for that.
I think there was a criticism of Colorado that it was going to, and like, I think that the people thought it was a possibility that it would just be like a clown show and like a loud disaster.
It's kind of going back to the Cody Campbell interview where he talked about what playing for Mike Leach was actually like.
Yeah.
I think people saw Mike Leach, saw like the 60 Minutes piece, and they thought he's like that all the time. Yeah. But he was a hard ass coach, just like Cody said. I think Deion's very old school.
Yeah, Deion's an old school hard ass coach because he was an excellent player during a time in which practices were probably a lot different than they are now. So I do think that we all, as collectively as college football consumers, should at least respect Deion Sanders for the coach that he is becoming and the program that he's building. You might not like the flashiness, and that's your prerogative, but don't mistake the flashiness for lack of work, for lack of commitment to craft, and of course, a commitment to excellence, because I think that they've proven that that's their goal, and they have my respect. So, that's my piece on Colorado. So, I understand why a 5-star would want to go there.
Yeah, absolutely.